Hi lovelies, it's your girl Jenny. So today we're going to draft this lovely fitted boo with down plate. If this is something you like, let's go to the work table. Alright, now to the work table, I have a two piece of pattern here. This is for the front pattern. I fold it into two, okay, and this one is for the back pattern. I also fold it into two. So I'm going to cut both of them together. I'll place the front pattern on the back pattern. So I'm working on the front pattern. First of all, I'm going to draft the starting line, or what we know as shoulder line. Okay, I'm going to draft this. Other measurement is going to take in from here. Then I'll measure the sleeve of this, how long I want it to be, how I want the sleeve to be. So from the center of my back, I'm going to measure the length. I'm going to make use of the pattern, which is basically 12 inches. So from there, I'll mark the armhole line. I mark that 10 inch for the armhole line, and this is the neckline. I measure 3 inches for the neckline and 1.5 inch for the depth of the neckline. So I'm going to connect it together. So then from here, I'm going to measure the vertical measurement. The first one, I'm going to measure it from the here to my shoulder slope. So I'm going to mark my shoulder slope. I come down by 1 inch at that place and connect it to the neckline, just like so. So please, if you are drafting your pattern, make sure you use your actual fabric, because this is a paper, so the measurement is just to fit in the paper. Hope you understand. So from there, I measure my bust point from the neck here. Shoulder line, I measure the bust points, and from the center line, I come in by my bust point divided by 4. My bust divided by 4, I'll mark it there. Then I mark 1 extra inch for ease. As you can see, this is a fitted boo gown. Okay, so it's not going to have too much allowance. I just mark an inch for ease, body ease. So that is it. I'll mark it there. And then the next thing is to connect it to the armhole, like so. So from that bust point, I'm going to connect it to the armhole. This is the armhole. I'll make a straight line for my armhole. Okay, so you understand what I'm doing here. So I'm going to mark it. I'm using free hand to do this. You can use a curve rule if you want. So I basically connected the bust line. Then from there, I'm going to measure my hip, or no, rather the waist measurement, which is 14 inches for the waist measurement. Okay, so I'll mark my waist divided by 4 here. The waist divided by 4, I'm going to mark it plus 1 inch extra for the body ease. So I'll connect it to the bust pattern or bust point. Okay, so then I'll measure the hip area. So let me make it the front point. This is the waistline, and the bust point. Okay. Right, so you understand what I'm doing here. This is the bust line and the waistline. So from here, I'm going to measure the hip from the shoulder to the hip line. All right, so from the shoulder to the hip line, you measure yours and mark the measurements on the pattern. So I'm marking it here, the shoulder from the hip line. Then this is the knee line. This is the knee line, and this is the hip line. So remember, this gown stop at the knee line before the added pleat. Now I'm going to measure the horizontal, the bust, and the hip divided by 4. I'll mark it there. Hip divided by 4, I'll mark it plus extra 1 inch as I did in other ones. So I'll connect it down to the hip, to the knee line rather. So you can see I make a little curve there. Being a hip, you don't have to be straight line. I'm going to be a kind of curve there. You can use the curve ruler to curve it. So I'll go ahead to cut out the patterns. Okay, this is me cutting out the shoulder line, and then this is the front pattern, and this one is the back pattern. So this is the front. So I'm basically drafting it both together, so I'll cut it together instead of cutting it separately. So now I'm going to remove the back pattern and work on the front pattern. Now if this is your first time of watching me, please don't forget to subscribe and hit on the notification bell. Okay, thank you so much. Now on the neckline, I'm going to work on the neckline. Okay, this is the neckline. I'm going to make a V curve from here. So depending how what I'm going to cut out. So from the bust line, I'm going marking out 1.5 inch on all the 1.5 inch on the waistline and down to the full length of the pattern. So I'll mark it there. So from the neckline, I'm going to connect it there. Okay, just from here. Don't make sure you don't cut anything out from there, so you don't alter the neckline or the back pattern. So I'll mark it and then mark it down to the full length of the pattern. So I'm basically going to cut out this to make a space for the rope. Now I'm going to cut it out like so. All right, yeah. So then mark it out and I'll open it. This is just how it is. Okay, this is it. So I'll go ahead to trim out a little bit from the neckline to make it a little bit wide open. And as I'm doing that, I make sure I don't touch the width of the neckline. Now this is it. The front pattern is open. I'm going to go out and cut out the horizontal measurement. The horizontal measurement, placing the front pattern and the back pattern. You can actually do this before you cut out the front piece. So I'm going to cut this out, the horizontal measurement, to see the shape of the pattern. All right, just like so. Okay, yeah, and now that is it. Okay, this is the front pattern. So next step is to measure the length from one edge to the other edge of the fabric. And as I'm doing this, notice that I place the front pattern on the back. This will enable me to get the accurate measurement of the pattern, so I know the quantity of rope I'm going to cut. So from there, I'll cut out the rope. I got like 2 inches from this, so I cut out the rope. So this rope, I cut it on 2 inches on fold, 2 inches on fold. When I open it, it will be 4 inches. When I open it, it will also be 4 inches. So I'm going to use half an inch to sew it, and then the remaining 3 inch. And remember that what I cut out is just 1.5 inch on fold, if you can remember. So this is just it. All right, this, if you are working on your fabric, all you have to do is to place it so it can fold. So this is just how it is. Right, you just have to sew it round. If you are sewing on your fabric, just sew it round from one edge to another. And yeah, and this is basically just how it's gonna be. Okay, as simple as it is. Very, very simple, trust me. Now I'm going to place it and then work on the pleat of the fabric, of the pattern rather. For the pleats, I'm going to just get a width, just get another pattern and pleat it, depending how full you want the pleats to be. Okay, depending how full you want it to be, just go ahead and pleat it like so. You can make it a gathers or a pleated one and work, whatever you want. Just measure the height, the full length of the fabric you want, how long you want it to be, and measure it, add it to the already cutted pattern, then pleat your work on it. So this is basically all for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and please, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, share, so other tailors can see this. Okay, now look at how beautiful it is. Isn't it beautiful? So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.